Imagine standing on a silent plain, where the wind whistles through broken stones. No tourists. No souvenir shops. Just the ruins of a people who once laughed, built, fought, and dreamed, and then vanished. We know the big names, Egypt, Rome, Mesopotamia, but history's vault holds hundreds of other civilizations, each with its own secrets. Many of them are almost forgotten, buried under dust, ice, or jungle. Today, I'm taking you on a journey to meet 10 civilizations you've probably never heard of, and yet, without them, the story of humanity would be incomplete. 1. The Norte Chico Civilization, Peru's forgotten builders. Before the Inca, long before Machu Picchu rose in the clouds, there was the Norte Chico. Around 5,000 years ago, in the dry coastal valleys of what is now Peru, these people built massive ceremonial complexes out of stone and earth. They had no pottery, no art as we know it, and, strangely, no signs of warfare. Instead, their power came from organization. They mastered irrigation, turning barren desert into farmland. Their cities were more like sacred gathering places, where thousands came together for rituals. The most baffling part: they may have been one of the first societies in the world to use quipu, knotted strings, to record information. Then, after centuries of stability, they quietly faded, leaving behind pyramids that predate Egypt's. 2. The Indus Valley City without kings. Modern-day Pakistan and northwest India hide the ruins of a civilization that was thriving when Egypt's pyramids were still new. The Indus Valley people, sometimes called the Harappans, built perfectly planned cities with straight streets, drainage systems, and public baths. And yet, there's no evidence of kings, palaces, or armies. Their society seems to have been surprisingly equal, with no big displays of wealth. They traded with Mesopotamia, grew cotton, and had a mysterious writing system we still can't read. But around 1900 BCE, their cities emptied out. Some say climate change dried up their rivers. Others think disease swept through. Today, we are left with the mystery of a civilization that may have thrived without a ruler. 3. The Kingdom of Aksum, Africa's lost empire. In northern Ethiopia, stone obelisks pierce the sky, the last standing symbols of the Kingdom of Aksum. From the 1st to the 7th century CE, Aksum was a major player in world trade, connecting Africa to Rome, India, and Arabia. They minted their own coins, carved massive stelae, and built grand palaces. Some legends even tie Aksum to the Ark of the Covenant. The empire converted to Christianity in the 4th century, long before most of Europe. But as Islam spread across the region, Aksum's trade routes weakened. Eventually, it faded into legend, its once bustling streets reclaimed by grass and silence. 4. The Hittite Empire, masters of iron and diplomacy. Long before Rome, an empire rose in what is now Turkey. The Hittites, around 1600 BCE, were among the first to work iron, giving them weapons that outclassed their enemies. But they weren't just warriors, they were diplomats. The world's oldest known peace treaty, made with Egypt after the Battle of Kadesh, bears their name. At their height, the Hittites controlled much of the Middle East. Then, around 1200 BCE, the mysterious Sea Peoples attacked, and the empire collapsed almost overnight, swallowed by the chaos of the Late Bronze Age collapse. 5. The Sogdian Traders, the Silk Road's ghosts. Imagine caravans of camels moving slowly across the desert, loaded with silk, spices, and glassware. The merchants speaking a strange language you've never heard before, Sogdian. The Sogdians, from Central Asia, were the middlemen of the Silk Road. They connected China, Persia, India, and Rome. They left behind colorful murals showing banquets, musicians, and dancing, proof that theirs was a vibrant culture. But when Arab armies expanded in the 8th century, Sogdian cities fell. Their language and culture vanished, leaving only fragments in the sands. 6. The Nabateans, architects of the desert. You might know Petra, the stunning rose-red city carved into rock in Jordan. That was the Nabateans' masterpiece. They were desert traders, controlling the caravan routes of Arabia. To survive in a harsh, dry climate, they built advanced water systems, channels, cisterns, and reservoirs hidden in the cliffs. They blended cultures, mixing Greek, Roman, and local styles. Eventually, Rome absorbed their kingdom, and Petra was abandoned. Wind and sand took over until explorers rediscovered it in the 19th century. 7. The Olmec mother culture of Mesoamerica. Before the Maya, before the Aztec, the Olmec thrived in southern Mexico around 1200 BCE. They are famous for their giant stone heads, each carved from volcanic rock and weighing tons. No one knows exactly who the faces represent, kings, athletes, or gods. They developed early writing, complex religion, and the Mesoamerican ball game. For reasons still debated, their cities were abandoned, but their influence shaped every later civilization in the region. 8. The Khazar Khaganate, the Jewish kingdom of the steppe. Around the 7th to 10th century CE, in the grasslands between the Black and Caspian Seas, a powerful empire rose, the Khazars. What makes them unique? Their ruling elite converted to Judaism, a rare move in world history. They controlled trade routes between Europe and Asia, taxing goods that passed through their lands. Eventually, pressure from the Rus and other powers broke them apart, and their story faded into legend, with some even claiming Khazar bloodlines in modern peoples. 9. The Chachapoya, the warriors of the clouds. High in the Andes of Peru lived the Chachapoya, called the Cloud People by the Inca. They built cities and fortresses on mountain ridges, often shrouded in mist. Their stone walls still stand in places like Kulap, sometimes called the Machu Picchu of the north. When the Inca expanded, they absorbed the Chachapoya, but when the Spanish arrived, disease and conquest erased them almost completely. Today, their mummies and cliff tombs hint at a once thriving mountain kingdom. 10. The Lycians, the democracy before democracy. In what is now southern Turkey, the Lycians flourished around 500 BCE. They built unique rock-cut tombs, carved high into cliffs. But their real claim to fame? A form of democratic government centuries before Athens made it famous. They formed a federation of cities where each had votes based on size, an idea so advanced that the framers of the U.S. Constitution later studied it. Eventually, they were absorbed by the Persians, then the Greeks, and finally Rome, but their ideas outlived them. 10 civilizations, 10 different ways of living, building, and dreaming. Some ruled deserts. Some commanded seas. Some lived in clouds. Others thrived in valleys. All of them rose, all of them fell, and all of them left whispers in the ruins they left behind. History often tells us about the giants, Rome, China, Egypt, but it's the forgotten ones that remind us how many paths humanity has walked. And maybe, one day, someone will stumble upon the ruins of our cities and wonder, who were these people? And why did they disappear?